project, we're going to be using this super cute Dollar Tree sign that I saw this year. It's, I believe, out new. It's so adorable. Run and get one or two of them. I know they're going to sell out super fast, and you don't want to miss crafting with these. Now we're going to pop off this pumpkin section of the cup. It's the wraparound part if you are at a coffee shop, the part that keeps your hands cool. Let me know in the comments what that is called, because I'm not 100% sure I know what the word is for that. But we're going to pop that off, and we're going to be using some scrapbook paper here. Now I got the original idea to use the scrapbook paper from Creative on the Cheap's video that she made. She used this same sign to make a super cute project. I'll put that video down in my description box so you don't miss out on that. You don't want to do the top part of your scrapbook paper unless you're going to cut it in a rounded section. I used my nail to kind of go around just so I could get a good idea of the shape. Then I just went ahead and used my scissors to give it a clean cut. Then I'm using this latte colored apple barrel paint. We're just going to cover this pumpkin section. I wanted this to be kind of a neutral color because my project is going to have a lot of other bold colors in it. So once I get this pumpkin section finished, we let that dry. We're also going to add a little bit of white paint up here at the top. We're going to do the 3D part and the bottom part underneath there with white paint. This would be the lid if you were getting a drink. Then I'm just using a glue stick here. You are free to use your glue of choice. I don't mind the glue stick when I'm using paper. You can always go over the top of it with Mod Podge if you want. And I never seem to have any issues using the glue stick. I do use a name brand glue stick though. I think that makes a difference when you're using glue sticks. Once I get it glued on there, we're going to go ahead and make sure the paper is securely on and it's all covered. And then I'm going to take my pumpkin section and I'm just going to glue it back on to the front of our cup. That part of our project is finished, and we're going to set that part aside. I have this Dollar Tree wreath that I got. It's from the Dollar Tree Plus section. I got it last year, I believe, and it's just been sitting in my stash. Now, if you've used these little wreaths that they have in their Dollar Tree Plus sections before, you know they're a little sparse. I do like the material they're made out of because you can just stick your florals in there and you don't have to use any hot glue. So if you didn't want to put any hot glue on this project, you could put some pipe cleaners or something on the back of your cup and just secure it onto there like that, and you wouldn't have to use any hot glue. So we're going to go ahead and use some florals. These are some florals that were left over from last year, just trying to use up a little bit of my stash. But if you need to pick up new florals, they have such pretty ones out this year at the Dollar Tree. I just cut these stems down pretty short so I could stick them in, just leaving a little bit of the greenery, and then I'm just sticking them into the places. Now I didn't take any of the greenery off the wreath that it came with. I just am adding things here and there that I love. Blue is one of my favorite colors to decorate with for fall, so I had to add some blue leaves in there. I just keep fluffing and decorating and adding flowers and greenery until I like what it looks like. That's how wreath making kind of goes. And then once I have enough florals on there to kind of hide all the wreath parts, this project's done. It is so cute, definitely one of my favorites. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Sticking with the scrapbook paper theme we got going on here, we're going to take one of these flat pumpkins that they have in just the fall section. This is just an unfinished wood pumpkin. This one's a little warped, so just be careful when you're buying these signs that you kind of look at them, especially depending on the kind of project you're going to use. But using our scrapbook paper, we're just going to trace around our pumpkin and cut it out, and that's it for like this easy part of this project. Again, I'm just going to use my glue stick and I'm just going to rub it all over my pumpkin and stick my scrapbook paper down. Now this scrapbook paper came from Hobby Lobby. I've had it like a really long time, but they have a lot of really cute single pieces of scrapbook paper, or you can buy a paper pack. I don't necessarily think buying the paper pack is always the best idea unless you're going to use a lot of the paper, because over the time I have collected so much scrapbook paper that I never use, that it just is these big packs of paper that there's designs in there that I don't really like. And if you're like needing space or something like that, I think it's a really great idea to just buy the single papers. But you guys let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on scrapbook paper and buying in bulk. So once our scrapbook paper is completed and glued onto our pumpkin, we're going to take some twine and we're going to wrap it around the stem. I just thought this would add a little bit more dimension and a little separate color for our stem. It's a little bit of lighter twine. I don't remember where that twine came from. I'm pretty sure it came from the Dollar Tree. So I picked up one of these letter signs. This is also from the Dollar Tree home section. I'm just going to remove the backing, and it's one of those ones that you can spell out the words. We're just going to go ahead and glue that into the middle of our pumpkin using some hot glue. Super easy. These are pretty lightweight, so it's okay to glue it to this kind of lighter weight pumpkin. Once we get it glued on there, we're going to take the letters that it came with and we're going to spell out hello to fall. This is super easy. You could spell out whatever you liked. I wanted there to be 3 words because it just seemed funny to only have 2 words, which is just a little bit of my personality and needing it to be like symmetrical. But if you're good with whatever words you want to put on there, you could even just say fall in the middle. But you can change this around through the whole season. You could have a different saying each week. It's really cute. You could just have it out something you're thankful for. I don't know. I think these letter signs are super adorable. That is really all to this project, and it is super easy and super adorable. Let me know what you think about this one. Project, we're going to be using 5, or actually I think I only used 4 of these brooms that I got at the Dollar Tree. So they are $1.25 now. Or they are $1.25. I say they're $1.25 now because when I was shopping, I picked up some calendars and I noticed that the calendars are now $1.50. And it seemed to be only the calendars that were crafting items, which I thought was a little bit sneaky. Let me know if that was the case if you did go buy any calendars, if you noticed that the price of just the calendars had gone up to $1.50. So once we remove all of the pieces from our brooms, we're going to just tie them together at the top with some jute twine. I did add a little bit of hot glue up at the top because it didn't seem very secure, and I just wanted this to look like one big broom. So we're going to take some ribbon, and this is ribbon from this year's collection. They have such really pretty ribbon at the Dollar Tree. For $1.25, you really can't beat the patterns that they have. But we're going to cut 2 pieces of each of the ribbons, and then if you have been crafting with me for a while, you know I use jeans a lot, and I realized I hadn't used jeans in a while to do any ribbons or bows, and I thought, oh my goodness, it's got to come back, and it's fall and it's perfect time to use jeans. So we're going to go ahead and cut a few pieces of these jeans. These are just leftover jeans. I save all my family's jeans and I use them for crafting. And then I have just a little bit of fabric that came from the Dollar Tree. I just like to make a little cut in them, and then I tear it and I get these strips of fabric and I use it as part of a messy bow, which is what we're creating right here. So once I have all the pieces ripped or cut, we're going to go ahead and assemble our messy bow. So this messy bow has 2 pieces of each type of ribbon or fabric, so we're just going to lay them crisscrossed in each direction. Starting with some ribbon, we're going to go ahead and start with our plaid ribbon, and we're going to lay them in a crisscross, and then we're going to go ahead and do our jean material, and then some more ribbon, and then we're going to use some of the fabric. Now I had an extra piece of the fabric, and so what I'm going to do with that extra piece of orange, it's either orange or green, I think it might be green. But we're going to take that and we're going to put it in the middle. Oh, it was orange. We're going to put it in the middle of our ribbon and we're going to just tie the knot with that. The leftover pieces that come from the knot end up just being part of your bow. So whatever piece you put up there, just know it's going to be like at the top of your messy bow. Once we have that all assembled together, we're just going to use some hot glue and we're going to glue that to the top of our bow. Now, or the top of our broom. You can make these as big or small as you want. If you want a little bit of a smaller bow, you want to use a little bit less thick ribbon or fabric. It's really up to you. You don't even have to put that many pieces in there together. Really, the sky is the limit, and I love these bows. So if you want to check out some more crafting with these bows, I'll have a video at the end that you can see more projects I've done using these bows for fall. So we're just going to add some florals. Again, these are just a few leftover florals from last year. However, I did see that the Dollar Tree has these same florals again this year. So if you like these colors, definitely go get them. At my Dollar Tree, it seems to sell out super fast, like the floral department for each season. So definitely don't wait to go pick up your florals if you're getting them from the Dollar Tree. So we're just going to add pumpkins and florals to however much we want to go here. Now I do have this like piece of twine that I wrapped around all of the brooms down there in the middle, and I didn't want that part to show, so I just keep adding florals and pumpkins until I get down to the bottom, like kind of where that little piece is, so that it can be covered up. And then I have this leather tag, and I think that this came from Hobby Lobby, but it could have came from the Dollar Tree too. This was just in my stash. So we're gonna hot glue that to the bottom of where our florals ended. It says thankful. We're just gonna wrap that tag around the back, put a little bit of hot glue there, and cut off any remaining pieces. And then this is how this project turned out. I think it's pretty sweet looking, just very kind of adorable. I don't know, you guys let me know what you think about this one. For this project, we're going to be taking these two pumpkins. Now, these were just in my stash, but they came from the Dollar Tree Plus section. I'm going to remove the stem of the cream one and then glue the green one on top. Now, I highly recommend twirling your stacks around like I'm doing right here, just to make sure that you have them even, because when I first put the green pumpkin on top of that, they weren't even, and so it would have been crooked when I was finished with my project. So just make sure you look at your whole stack before you start assembling. So we're going to make this really cute blooming pumpkin. I saw one of these on the Pottery Barn website, so they are kind of high-end looking. You can get them at Kirkland's and places like that, but we're going to make this for quite a bit less. So we're going to use these florals. I'm taking one stem of each of these. They came from the Dollar Tree, so these really pretty cream colored florals, and then we're going to take some of these leaves. These are like the yellow colored eucalyptus leaves. We're going to stick those in, and we're kind of going in thirds here. So we're just going to go all around the middle section of our pumpkin, intertwining leaves, flowers, and some traditional like maple type fall leaves. I think this is super easy to complete. Anyone can make this really, and it really can be customizable to like the colors that you enjoy or like. You can make these for several different seasons. You don't have to just use pumpkins, but I love like the simplicity of this, but the like high-endness of it as well. Once we get all our florals on there, we're ready to make another messy bow, and I'm just using kind of the same materials. I like to pick out a couple different colors of ribbon and then do all my projects for the day with those ribbon. I don't know why I do that. Let me know if you guys do that down in the comments, but I get on like a color scheme and then I just want to use that same color scheme. So we're doing the same thing here, laying them down, crisscrossing them. We're going to tie that off in the middle just like we did before, and then this bow is going to go at the top of our pumpkin. I think this is so cute. I call these like a farmhouse messy bow. I don't know if it's really called that, a farmhouse, but farmhouse chic, but I think it's adorable. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to use a couple more of these plain wooden pumpkins. I'm going to cover 2 of them with some white Waverly chalk paint. I'm just going to give it 1 coat because it won't need any dry brushing because it's thin coat of paint, so the wood part is going to come through and kind of look like you already dry brushed it. I picked up these wooden beads at Hobby Lobby when they were on clearance for like 75% off. I love to pick up beaded garlands at Hobby Lobby. It's a lot cheaper than buying like wooden beads in a bag, and you get like lots of different colors and things like that, and that's just, I buy them when they're on sale or when they're on clearance, and then you get a way more bang for your buck. So we're going to cut off the tassel section, and then we're going to put some hot glue on top of our bead to keep our garland together. So for this project, we're just going to be using all of the green and white beads. We're going to glue them around the pumpkin. Now you could stop at this. You don't have to do the double layered pumpkins like we're going to do here in a second. You could leave just 1 layer of beads and then you can continue on with the rest of the project, or you can make the layered look that we're going to do next. So once we get them all hot glued around, then we're going to put some hot glue on the other side of our pumpkin, and then we're going to lay that matching the sides of our pumpkins right on top of our beads. So this is going to have like a sandwich of beads in between. Now my pieces were a little bit warped, unfortunately, so I had to really apply some pressure here to make sure that they adhered to the beads. Once they get all stuck onto the beads, we're then going to just use these wooden pieces that I had left over from another project. We're going to add some hot glue, glue them to the bottom because we're making a stand, and that is it for this super easy project. Let me know what you think about this one. For this project, I wanted to make a wreath, and I made one of these similar to this one but not exactly like this one in the summertime with some farmhouse fabric from the Dollar Tree, and I thought this would be really cute to make a Halloween one. So I'm going to do this one a little bit different than I made the other one, but we're going to take our hoop. I believe my hoop is from probably Hobby Lobby. You can get all different sizes, so you can make this as big or as small as you want. We're going to take some ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to wrap the ribbon all the way around the top ring of our hoop. Then we're going to glue at the first part, and then we're going to glue at the ending part. If you feel like you need more glue in there, you can go ahead and add more glue. I pulled these pretty tight as I was wrapping it around. Once I get that all glued on, then we're going to go ahead and get our fabric out. I got this fabric at Dollar Tree. They had some really cute Halloween fabric this year. Now we're going to go ahead, stretch it over our second hoop, and then we're going to put our top hoop on top, and we're going to cinch it together. This is a little tight because we have something wrapped around the top part, but that's okay. You can stretch it a little bit and then push down. You want that fabric to be as tight as you possibly can. Once you have it tight and you're ready, you're going to flip it over, and then you're going to cut around the back. Now you can cut as much or as little off. I'm going to go ahead. I tried to make it to where I could fold it into the bottom part of our hoop. A little parts of it were a little too short and I had to put glue in a different area, but I was able to get all the pieces folded over into the wreath part on the back to give it a little bit more of a finished look. Once we flip it over, we're ready to add a bow. This is a super easy project, I told you guys. So we're gonna take our bow. You could do a shoelace bow here. I wanted a couple different types of ribbon, so I went ahead and made a shabby bow. This ribbon and fabric all came from the Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna crisscross them, cut them out, and then I'm using the fabric of the piece to tie it off in the middle. Once I have that all to my liking, I go ahead and dovetail the ends of this ribbon, and then we're going to glue it at the top of this wreath. To add a little bit more fun texture to this, I got these cutouts at the Dollar Tree. These cats are so cute and meant to look like a silhouette, so I thought that would be really cute for this project. We're going to glue it at an angle so its feet can be flush as the side of the circle, and I'm just using hot glue and attaching it to the fabric. That is it for this one. This is my favorite one of the day. Let me know what you guys think and if you're willing to recreate something like this. For this project, we're going to start out with this witch's hat that came from the Dollar Tree. And you could do this with the witch's hat by itself like this if you want to have more of a Halloween feel. We're going to cover it with this brown Rust-Oleum spray paint. I don't have much left in this container, but we're going to see what we can cover the hat with. Like, I do finally get most of the hat covered. A few little spots left here and there, but it works. So we're going to cover this whole hat. I did underneath as well, and then I let that dry. I like to use the Rust-Oleum, the one that has the primer in it. It does nicely on plastic. So if you are looking for a spray paint, that's the one I usually like to get. I went ahead and put a ribbon around the brim because we're going for more of a scarecrow hat here. You don't end up actually being able to see much of the ribbon, so you could either put the ribbon higher or just leave that part off altogether. But we're going to use some floral foam from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just using hot glue, and I'm going to put about 4 pieces into the hat. This is just some leftover foam that I had cut up for other projects, but if you get one container, or maybe you need about 2 pieces if you're getting new pieces at the Dollar Tree. Then I went ahead and took some raffia. This is just leftover that I had. You could even use a hula skirt from the Dollar Tree. I put that in between, and now we're ready to just add some florals. These are all just florals that came from the Dollar Tree, and I just randomly put them in. You can cut down your florals a little bit lower than I did for the eucalyptus stems if you want to. Mine are a bit tall, but I actually liked how it turned out, but that's, a total you preference. And these are just a whole bunch of leftover florals and things that I had from other picks. Everything came from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and just put it around in my floral arrangement. I go ahead and use the front of the arrangement as that big sunflower, and then I just go adding in here and there to cover up the floral foam. I don't want any of that to show. And after I get all my florals in, that is it for this project. Pretty easy. It didn't take me longer than 10 minutes, and it's super adorable. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
Hey, I wish you could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you. You don't even notice. Should have told you straight.
For this project, we're going to use one of these baskets that I found in the Target dollar spot. I think this cost $5. And I'm using some pumpkin Waverly chalk paint. Now, this foam brush needed to be thrown away. I didn't realize it was so bad when I started using it, but I managed to get all the paint on the basket. I even did the inside. And then we're just going to use these stems. I know the Dollar Tree sells these. Mine did not have them this year. I got mine at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section, so they are half off. I'm just going to add 3 stems here. I don't know why I didn't put the leaves on first, but I put the stem on and then realized I wanted to add leaves and I need to put the leaves underneath. So if you recreate this project in any way, put your leaves down first. So I'm just using some leftover leaves from another project, and I'm just going to go ahead and stick them in. I really, really liked the color of these, so I'll be on the lookout for some leaves like this for next year because I just really like the multicolor leaves. If you've ever seen these, let me know where you saw them because I would love to go get a package. But all we're going to do is add some leaves here. You can add other embellishments if you want, but that is it for this project. Super simple. This one was less than 5 minutes, maybe 10 if you count the drying time for the paint. But let me know what you guys think about this one.
You don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You know.
For this project, I picked up this really cute little spider. I think it's supposed to be a candy dish, but I thought that this would make a really cute floral arrangement. So I'm just taking a piece of fluorofoam. I'm going to go ahead and glue it into the little piece of our spider, and we're going to add some florals here. Super easy. You can add whatever you wanted. I ended up just pretty much adding flowers. These were all florals that came from the Dollar Tree and just ones that I had on hand, gotten this year though. And I went ahead and used like the really pretty red color for the middle, and then I used this beautiful mustard color. These are my two favorite colors for fall, that and this like copper color. And then I thought it would be really cool to put these little, I don't know, they kind of look like marigolds into the middle, kind of looking like it's coming off of the spider. I think this is elegant Halloween, or really, I just kind of think fall. But you guys let me know what you think about this one. This project is a little bit more kid-friendly. I am using a wood round, but the actual packet comes with paper plates. So if you wanted to do this with your kids, you could use the paper plates if you wanted. But I thought this was really fun. And if you are doing it with kids, when my kids were little, they wanted to do like the adult crafts. They wanted to do, you know, big people crafts. And so this is kind of a way to mix that. So these are the cutest little, like, I think they're squirrels, but they had a couple different ones, and they are paper plate crafts at the Dollar Tree. Now they come with 6, so you can make 6 of the paper plate crafts. So if you are a teacher, this would be a really fun like fall craft idea. And I taught elementary for a little while before I moved to middle school, and I could think of some really fun writing activities to create this craft with. So if you're an elementary teacher, this you should run and get some of these. Now there is like a white piece that goes around some of the pieces of the squirrel, so I wanted to go ahead and cut that part off. That's optional, you do not have to do that. Now we're going to take our wood round, and I covered mine, I forgot to say that, but I covered mine with just some brown acrylic paint that I watered down as a stain. And I'm just using hot glue here. I think a glue stick would work just fine. Again, if you're doing the paper plates, obviously a glue stick would be perfectly fine for that. So you're going to go ahead, glue on the ears, and then I flipped it over, and so this wood round is pretty big for these little cutouts, but I think it's adorable. I hung him on my craft room door because I just think he is super cute, but you guys let me know what you think about it. But we're going to go ahead and just kind of glue on the pieces. I glued on his eyes and his eyebrows and then his mouth, and then I have this like big section down in the bottom because he is kind of a fat guy. He has a lot of body left. And I couldn't decide if I really wanted to use the cheeks, like the blush, but I decided he kind of needed them. So I went ahead, glued those on as well. And then I took some ribbon that I had also coming from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to give him a cute bow tie because for some reason he just looks like a boy to me, but that is a total preference, up to you guys. So I'm just going to fold it over and then hot glued it, and then I'm going to crease it in the middle. I'm going to take some hot glue, glue that on to the middle of our round down at the bottom, and he gets this really cute bow tie. I thought he also needed a flower though, so we're going to go ahead, add one of these orange flowers from the Dollar Tree into the middle. Now this came with a tail, and at first I wasn't going to put it on, but I think he needed it, and after I added the tail, it's so adorable. I loved it. You guys let me know what you think. Are you going to recreate something like this or not?
When I see you dance and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow.
For this project, we're going to start with one of these oversized pumpkins from Hobby Lobby. I like these. I have crafted with them a few times, so I'll leave a video down in the description box with some more projects using this large pumpkin. So I also got this fabric at Hobby Lobby. It is 40% off, so if you get fall fabric, it is also on sale. I'm just using a paint marker since this fabric is pretty dark, and I'm just going to trace around the pumpkin. So I wanted to try out the spray glue that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I don't know if I did something wrong, but in the past when I've used spray glue, you would spray it on, adhere your material, whatever material you're using, and it would be stuck right away. And I did not have the same luck, I guess you would say, with this. I sprayed it, I let it sit for a little bit, and then I came back and the pieces were not adhered. It did say you could use it on fabric, and I just did not have luck. So I tried it a couple different times just to see if maybe I wasn't giving it enough wait time or something, and it just did not work out. I tried it on a couple other projects during this video with different materials, and again, it still didn't work out. So I ended up using hot glue to go around because I didn't have any more fabric glue. So I would say I wouldn't recommend buying the Dollar Tree brand spray glue, but if you have better luck, let me know down in the comments. So we're going to make a messy bow, and I'm just using some leftover jeans, some leftover fabric. This is the end of this color of fabric, and I'm a little bit sad. It came from the Dollar Tree. And then I also got this ribbon from the Dollar Tree, which I thought matched really well with this fabric. So if you can't tell, the fabric is a recipe for pumpkin pie. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that at the top. I have these cinnamon sticks on hand. I believe I got these at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas area, and the Christmas area is 50% off right now. I will never understand the Hobby Lobby like pricing business, since the fall stuff is only 40% off, but Christmas is 50% off. So I'm going to use these eucalyptus stems that I got from Dollar Tree. I love that they have so many different colors of these because these are kind of my favorite leaves. So we're just going to go ahead and put a few sprigs underneath our ribbon and kind of underneath our cinnamon sticks, and then we're going to add a little pumpkin to the middle of our bow. Now I did not dovetail mine. You can if you want. I just kind of like the straight edged kind of messy look. I call it shabby farmhouse. But if you want to, you could dovetail those as well. I just gave this a little quick coat of paint. It came in a bag with several other little pumpkins, and I'm just going to glue that right to the middle. And then I'm going to add a little bow to the top of our pumpkin. And then that is it for this project. I loved it. Let me know what you guys think about this one. Project, we're going to take these little wood cutouts. Now these are from Hobby Lobby. They're $1.99 regular price for 12, but they are 40% off, so they are $1.19, which makes them a little bit cheaper than the Dollar Tree. These also don't have the little like circle cutout for an ornament, and they are a little bit larger. So I'm going to take some watered down paint. I've had this a really long time. I just store it in this little container and I shake it up and stir it up when I'm ready to use it. So that's a little bit of hack. If you have some plastic containers that you don't use, you can stir up some paint, keep it in your craft room, and whip it out whenever you would like a quick stain. So we're going to take this ribbon that came from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to make a little shoelace bow. I don't know what's happening here, but I'm struggling with this ribbon. I wanted it to have a certain look in the bows, and I had made them too big. So we're going to go ahead and glue it to the top of our pumpkin, and then we're going to start like embellishing underneath here. So this is just a quick hack, but if you have some flowers or florals that you don't use the stems and leaves of, go ahead and hold on to those because you can use those for other projects. You can use greenery in your fall decor because, as I've been seeing like all over YouTube and some of the people that I watch, we're talking about like nature and how nature still has greenery out right now during fall time. So go ahead, add that greenery into your projects and it looks beautiful with all the fall colors. So we're going to take this little cutout that came from Hobby Lobby. They're in a bundle pack. They are different shapes and sizes of leaves. It's $3.99. 40% off ends up being like $3.29 or something like that. We're going to go ahead, use a floral from the Dollar Tree, glue that in the middle, and then we're going to take a paint pen from, I got mine from Temu, but you could get yours from Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby, and we're going to write a name here on our pumpkin. So these are going to be little placeholders for my Thanksgiving table. I'm just going to write the names of all the people attending Thanksgiving at my house, and I'm going to use them as place setters. I thought these were so cute. So once we get the names all written on them, we're going to go ahead and take this little wood around. I got these in a pack at Hobby Lobby in the Christmas section, which is 50% off. And don't ask me, but I don't understand the pricing of fall versus Christmas. But if you need Christmas crafting, it is now currently 50% off. But here they are finished. I think they turned out adorable. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to take some more of these little cutouts that I got. There was a package of pumpkin ones and a package of leaves. So you can see they are different sizes, they are different shapes. I also picked up these gems at Hobby Lobby, again 40% off. You get quite a few in this bag, I will say, and they are all different sizes and colors. So I was trying to decide what would be kind of a cool thing to do with these, and I thought, okay, I'm going to try to glue these onto the pumpkin. So my original thought was to glue them over the whole pumpkin, but as I started gluing them on, I thought they might take away from the shape, so I decided to just go ahead and do parts of these shapes. So we're going to do like the sides. I kind of alternated between which sides I was going to do and like where on the pieces I was going to do them. So this is just a little bit of a tedious process, so I just suggest a podcast or like a show, so because you're going to have to glue them individually. And I will say that I did burn myself a couple times while I was gluing these on, so I recommend like some rubber fingers or something like that, because there are like some of the gems you can see on the side are pretty small, so you just want to make sure to not do what I did. So then we're going to take a terracotta pot. I've had these on hand forever. The Dollar Tree sold them in the summertime, but Hobby Lobby does sell them all year round. And Hobby Lobby has all different sizes, so you can pick and choose what you want there. But using my stain, I'm just going to go around on my pot. It gives it a little bit of a different look than it does if you give it full coverage. So you can see I've saved the stems of that pick and my leaves. We're going to use the stems here to glue on to the bottom of our leaf. I'm just using hot glue here, and it's just going to attach to the back. This is just a really quick hack. If you have other like fruit and things like that, you can make your own picks out of these. So hold on to those leftover picks that you think you might want to throw away. So once I get them glued on to my wood pieces, we're just gonna like arrange them into our pot. I'm just using some floral foam that came from the Dollar Tree. I did not glue it into the pot. I just stuck it in there really well in case I wanted to reuse this for a different project. But we're going to go ahead, stick them in there, and then we're going to add some Spanish moss here. Now make sure this pick was moving around on the back, so just make sure that you give it enough glue and give it a little bit of a wait time so it can stick into the floral foam. I went ahead and varied the heights of these so that you can see all three of them in the arrangement, and then we're going to add our Spanish moss just on top of the project, and then this project is finished. I think this turned out really adorable. You could really embellish these little cutouts and use them for gift wrapping or from gift bags or something like that. But let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, we're going to use the other 6 pumpkin cutouts from our package. So we did get 2 projects out of that package for $1.19. So I would say this is a super good deal, better than the Dollar Tree for these little pumpkins anyway. So we're using some orange watered down paint again for a stain, and I'm going to go ahead and do both sides of the pumpkins. We're going to do all 6 pumpkins doing this the same way. This is just a super easy way, and it's way less smelly than normal stain. So I have some leftover fabric here. I just went ahead and cut it in strips, and so I have I've been using that leopard green fabric for a little while and it's almost gone, and I'm actually pretty sad about it. It's like a corduroy material. You can't tell that on the video, but I love it. So we're going to use some jeans as well. So if you couldn't figure that out, we're going to make some messy bows. We need 6 messy bows because we're going to be doing them for each of the pumpkins that we have painted. For this messy bow, we're actually going to add some ribbon as well. So we're just taking some ribbon from the Dollar Tree and we're going to add that into just the middle of our bow to tie it off, and then the rest of that will go into the bow. So you're only going to use one piece of ribbon with all of your other fabrics. We're going to go ahead and glue that onto the top of our pumpkin, and then we're going to make 6 of those. I use the jean part to glue to the back of our pumpkin, and we're going to go ahead and use this as a napkin ring. So we're going to tie it around our napkin, and I made these linen napkins that go really well with this, but you can use any napkins you want. But I think this turned out so adorable. I love Shabby Farmhouse, and this just looks so great on my tablescape. What do you guys think about this one? So I have wanted to make this wreath for a really long time, and I'm so excited that I finally decided to make it. So you're going to want to pick up one of these witch's hat wreath forms from the Dollar Tree. Once you have the wreath form, you're going to need an old pair of jeans. You can either get that at the thrift store or just use a pair of jeans you might have around your house. These are my husband's old work pants. I've been using them for a couple other projects and some other videos, and so I just had some pieces of this left. I have about half to like 2/3 of this pair of pants left. You're going to use probably the majority of the pair of pants to make this wreath. It kind of depends on how you cut and what pieces you want to use. So for the beginning part, we're going to go ahead and take this section of jeans that you want to use. I wanted to have a pocket on mine. If you don't want to, you can just use a leg piece as well. So once I have it kind of positioned on the jeans, I'm going to kind of cut around here. We want to go at an angle, and you want to be able to fold some of it over on the back. So you're going to have to cut as you go. Once you have your desired like section that you want to glue on, we're going to fold them over. You want a good point at the top because you want it to look like a pointy hat. Once you get the sides all glued on, I kind of had a work in progress here, but I had taken the bottom and I had folded it over the rung, but then I decided I didn't like that because I wanted to add something there at the bottom. You could still do that and then add your raffia to the jean part right there. It would have something more substantial to stick to. I chose to take it off the ring, kind of fold a little bit and hot glue. It's pretty sturdy, so you don't have to worry about it like coming apart or moving around down there at the bottom, even though it's not attached to anything. Once I get that all together, I'm ready to do the bottom section. I decided to add my raffia first, and so I originally started trying to like tie them onto the pieces, but I think I had too big of sections and I didn't like how that looked. So I took that all apart and decided to just hot glue it onto the rungs. Once I get it all hot glued, I'm going to go ahead and go around the sides and the bottom piece with my jean pieces. Now to make your jean pieces, you're going to take sections of your jeans, preferably the legs, and then you're going to go ahead and cut about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, and then you're going to tear. You're going to make several strips out of this. You can do your own desired length that you like, and then you're going to tie them into a knot. You're going to do that all around the outer ring of the wreath frame. There is also this little section that holds the pieces together in the middle. I went ahead and tied some around that as well because then you get some jean material in between your raffia. I also went inside the raffia pieces and just kind of added a few pieces of jeans in there, so you don't have this giant piece of raffia and then just some jean pieces. You can put as much or as little as you want in between there, just to kind of make it look like there is jean pieces sticking out of the raffia. Once you have your bottom part completed, then we're going to just add a couple of details. I took a piece of burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree and cut it into a little rectangle. I also took some ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree, cut a little square, glued that on top of my burlap. Then I decided to make a shabby bow using some of my leftover pieces of jeans and some not burlap ribbon, some plaid ribbon that I got at Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and crisscrossed them to make my shabby bow. I glued that to the top of my wreath, and then that is it. I love how this turned out. I'm really happy with it. Let me know if you're going to make this one or if you have seen this wreath before. I think it's adorable. I love making things with jeans. Let me know what you think about this one. So this one is a super easy project. We're going to start out with one of these fall signs from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to remove the twine piece to hang it up and the raffia little bow that they had on the top. This charger also came from the Dollar Tree, and all we're going to do is take some hot glue and attach our sign to the charger. Now you can use any charger that you want. I chose the gold one because I had it on hand and I thought that it went really nicely with this sign, but whatever sign you choose, you can pick. They have all kinds of different chargers. Then we're going to take some ribbon, also from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to be making a messy bow. So I'm taking two pieces of each color of ribbon. So I'm using this pumpkin ribbon, I took a neutral orange ribbon, and then I'm going to use this plaid orange and blue ribbon, which I think all complement each other pretty nicely. Once I have each of the strips cut, then I'm going to take one more strip of ribbon. I decided to go ahead and use the orange one, and we're going to go ahead and tie that off in the middle. Once we have our bow made, we're going to go ahead and dovetail the ends. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I guess it just kind of depends on what I'm feeling at the moment, but we're going to go ahead and dovetail the ends of this one because this is such a simple project. So once I get the ends dovetailed, that is pretty much it. We're going to glue it to the top of our sign, and then I have this big sunflower left over from another project. I'm going to go ahead and glue some leaves and this big sunflower into the middle of this bow, and that is it for this project. Let me know what you guys think about this one.
You go, put your arms around me, and I'll let you know how it feels when time goes slow. And I won't let it rush when I see you dance, and the moment comes when I fall and time goes slow. I fall into you. I fall into you.
Now for this project, you can pick up one of these boxes in the Dollar Tree Plus section. They are $3. I think hexagon shapes of any type are great for pumpkins. I've made a lot of different projects out of hexagon shapes for fall, but this one I decided to go ahead and put navy on the inside of my box. I'm using a caramel color for the outside of the box. I felt like both of those complemented our bow that we're going to use. Once I get it all painted, I'm just going to add my bow up at the top with some of these little wood pieces. I got these at Hobby Lobby in a giant bag when they were on sale. There are all different sizes, so you can use them for all kinds of different projects. I'm going to take 3 of them, glue them on top of each other to make the stem. Then I'm going to glue my bow to the stem, and then I decided to add a few leaves. These also came from the Dollar Tree. I'm just going to add them to the back, and that is it. This one was super simple, definitely my favorite of the day. Let me know what you guys think about this one. If you've made it this far in the video, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, what are you waiting for? Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and become a part of my YouTube family. If you are this far along in the video, comment a pumpkin emoji. So for this project, we don't even need any fall supplies necessarily, except for some florals, but we're going to pick up one of these beaded garlands. It is $1.25. We're going to get a piece of floral foam and one of these little square wood pieces you can get in the Dollar Tree Crafters Square aisle. All we're going to do is kind of make a little cutout in our floral foam, and we're going to put our beaded garland into the floral foam. I did need a lot of glue to make sure that this was sturdy and held up. You're going to want to hold on to it as well so that it doesn't fall down and that you have a good sturdy base. Once you have that in there, all we're going to do is add our florals. Now, if you want to paint your beads or your bottom piece, you can do that. I chose to leave it a neutral color. I added florals all from the Dollar Tree. This was super easy. I think it turned out really cute. I'm loving these pre-made bows that I found at Dollar Tree the other day. I think they're super cute patterns, and you know I love navy, and they have some really cute navy options. I'm just going to add one of these bows up at the top, and that is it for this project. Let me know what you guys think about this one. For this project, I picked up one of these pumpkin, like table, I don't even know what you would call them, table setters maybe, and I'm going to use some scrapbook paper for this. Now, I was watching Creative on the Cheap, and she uses scrapbook paper a lot in her projects, and I thought, I don't know why I haven't been using scrapbook paper. I've been sleeping on that, I think. So I took her advice using that scrapbook paper, and I thought I would do it with this project. So I'm just using a pen, going to trace around these pumpkins. Now, these are the kind that fit together, and I'm going to say I don't love these. If you're somebody who buys these a lot or decorates with these, let me know. I've never really used them before, and I didn't really love them, but you guys let me know if I didn't do something right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and put my scrapbook paper on, and you can see I'm trying that spray glue again just on paper, and again, it did not work. So I ended up going back to my trusty glue stick. So we're going to use our sander from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to go at a downward motion and sand off these pieces. Now, I was watching Country Lily Decor, and she has a finger sander, and I think that I want to invest in one of those. But once I get my scrapbook paper on, we're going to go ahead and put these two pieces together. Now, you can't tell on that one, but the scrapbook paper actually ripped on the bigger pumpkin. It did not rip on the smaller pumpkin. So I don't know if I didn't give it enough wait time. They were pretty thick when I stuck them together, but so was the small one, and it didn't do that. So, but I went ahead and just put a little bit of paint, and you could not tell at all. So I'm just going to use some white around the edges because I didn't like how it looked with the scrapbook paper on the front parts and it being blank. And then I'm just going to take some ribbon, and we're going to glue it up at the top of our pumpkins. And the big pumpkin I did both sides, and then on the smaller pumpkin I only did one side. I think they are pretty adorable at the end, but I don't know that I would buy these to decorate with on a regular basis. But you guys let me know what you think about this one. Project is a little bit of a trash to treasure, so we're going to take these two cans that I had. I was doing like cooking the other day, and I thought, oh, I should use these cans for something, and then I was thinking, oh, these would make really cute pumpkins. I don't know, that's kind of how my brain works. But I decided to go ahead and use the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint again. Now this is kind of watered down because my brush had been sitting in the water, and so I was just kind of like, we're going for a rustic look here anyway. When these are all finished, my paint is a little bit like brownish orange or like greenish orange. I'm not really sure why. But I probably should have gone over these again with one more coat of like actual orange paint, because like I said, I was going for a rustic look, but these are a little bit not orange, but I think they're still pretty cute because the leaves I use on the top actually kind of complement the color. So I have one can that has ridges and one can that doesn't, so we're just going to go ahead using the same paintbrush all over the cans. I give it about 2 coats, which isn't total coverage because part of the can is still showing through. I'm okay with that. If you you want a more covered look, then go ahead and use a brighter paint and do as many coats as you need. Once those are all covered, we're ready to kind of embellish our little pumpkins here. One other thing about this project, I kind of wish I had made a bigger stem, so I'm going to go back and add one more wood stem, because once they are all completed, it's a little bit hard to see the stem. But these are just some leftover leaves from another pick, and just a little fun crafting tip. Make sure you hold on to those leaves even if you don't use them from your flowers, because you can use them later in other projects. So I know Dollar Tree sells these stems. Mine either didn't get them this year or they sold out super fast, so I had to get mine at Hobby Lobby. But a fun tip, if you go to the Christmas section, which is 50% off right now, they are in the Christmas section, so you can get them for half off. So once that is glued onto the top, we're going to take some raffia, make a little bow, and glue that to the stem. And that is it for this project. Let me know what you guys think about this one. We have made it to the end of the video. If you want to keep on crafting with me, check out these videos next. And as always, wherever you are in your journey is a perfect place to start. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!